What is up, guys? This is Pinzo back with another video today, and what I have for you guys is something a little different. This is a tier list, obviously, as you guys are looking at it, and the tier list that I'm going to be doing for you guys today is ranking every crowd control ability in Predecessor, based on mostly how strong the crowd control is what we're looking at here, just to see, who has the best CC in Pred. First of all, this did lead me to some findings. Number one, there's only one character in Predecessor that does not have inherent crowd control in their kit. And I will not tell you who that is, but you guys can let me know down in the comments if you can figure it out. So there's only one. The rest of the abilities, I cut them out. Hopefully I can remember all of the abilities as we go through. I think I got them all. So yeah, let me know if I missed any abilities, of course. Let me know what you guys think of this kind of content. But we're going to jump right into this. So first up, we have Chimera's right click. This is ambush. I think it's a solid B tier. It's a good jump. It is targeted. You can't use it to get away. Slow on it lets you get some auto attacks in, but not guaranteed. I think it's decent. This is barricade. This is Xeris's Q. I think this is like an A tier. It gives good damage mitigation. The stun, little unreliable. I still have issues with the hitbox on this. I don't know if you guys still have that or if that's just a me issue. I still have issues with the hitbox on this, but it's a solid stun. Interacts with this kit pretty solidly. You can dash and flash while you have this active and get stuns on people that they aren't expecting. So that's solid as well. Black hole. This is Gideon's ultimate. I think this is another A tier just because the pull on this is really strong. Obviously, you can CC him out of it. It does good damage as well. Don't get me wrong. But the pull on this is incredibly strong. So it's like, especially within Gideon's kit, he has a couple of slows. If you get a slow on someone, they can't really walk out of this. Pretty good ultimate. Old Rusty. This is Drongo's boomerang. I'm going to put this in C tier. The slow on this doesn't really do anything. Does mediocre damage. Just an okay ability. Rampage Rock. This is Boulder Throw. S tier. Really good ability. You can pull it out and cancel it as much as you want. Doesn't go on cooldown. 2-second stun. Go crazy. 12-second cooldown. Pretty nuts ability all around. This is Bramble Patch. This is Phase Q. I'm actually going to put this one tier above Drongo's boomerang because the slow on this is very, very strong and it's persistent on the ground. So it is a zoning threat, right? This is a 40% slow that if someone walks through, they get slowed by it, right? So that it's just actually a pretty strong ability. This is Buckshot. This is Murdoch's right click. I'm also thinking this is probably a B tier. I think it's still better than Drongo's boomerang. Good knockback, decent damage. Goes through walls, by the way. Pretty solid ability. Here we have Grux's Dash, which is called something. I don't know what this is. This is his dash. I'm gonna put this one in B tier. This is a good knockup, but short range. So combos into his kit well, of course, but just kind of okay, I think. Sevarog ult, I think, is another S tier. The displacement on this ability is pretty nuts, so I don't see why this shouldn't be an S tier. Obviously, it does. I mean, the damage it doesn't even matter, actually. The displacement on this, it's a free root. Really good ability. Crash Bang Boom, I'm going to put in... I think I'm going to put it in A tier for the same reason as Gideon. Obviously, it's cancelable, but this is a pretty strong slow into a good knockup. So I think this is probably A tierable. This is Kalari's Dagger. This is actually probably going to be the first D tier. Crippling Dagger has a very small slow on it. So yes, I am counting it as a crowd control ability. Very small slow. Doesn't really matter. But, it's good for clearing camps. That's really all that you use this for. So definitely a D tier here. Okay, this one is... This is actually Grux's Dash. Wait, so what's this one? This is Steel Dash? Okay, A tier for Steel Dash. Grux, this is actually Grux Dash. This is Steel Dash. They're very similar. Steel Dash, Bull Rush. This is going to be an A tier. It's a knockback. Good ability. It gives him shield. Does decent damage. Good in lane. I like this ability. Cole. This is Chimera's ultimate. I think I'm going to give this an A tier. Just because you can hit multiple people with this. It's a solid 1-second stun. Really easy to follow up on. Gives you a lot of passive stacks. I think this is probably a solid A tier. This is Kira's Dusk, I believe is the ability name. This is also going to be a D tier. This is her Q. This is her thing that uses her passive stacks. And it's mediocre slow at best. So here we go. Energy Lands. This is Phase Beam. This is going to be an A tier for me. I actually quite like this ability. You got to hit enough ticks, but it's a slow into a root. Really easy follow-up. Does bonus damage if you hit the roots. I like that. I think this is a pretty solid crowd control here. Beast. This is Countess Ultimate. I'm gonna put this in B tier, and the reason is that you stun yourself while you use it. Like, you're really easy to interrupt. It's only 0.75 seconds. Obviously, the ability itself does a lot of damage and heals a lot, but I think as a crowd control ability, single target, short duration, I'm gonna put this in B tier. Fly Trap, S tier, 100%. Faye Ultimate is an S tier. Even with Reclamation in the game, I know that this is an easy to play around ability. Still a really good ultimate. Forward Crunch. This is Crunch's right click. I think this is even a B tier, like, stun. This is a 0.7 or a 0.25 second stun that is pretty instant if you're in melee range. Combos into your other abilities. Good length dash. Like, I think this is actually pretty good. Gag Grenade. I think this is also an S tier ability. Gag Grenade, 3 second stun on the, or 3 second silence on the ground, excuse me. Very solid. I think this is really good. Gideon Passive. I'm counting this because it's a slow. I'm going to put it in C tier. I think it's a little better than these slows because it's persistent. It does a damage as well. I think this is a decent slow. Sparrow's Hail of Arrows. I think it's going to go in D tier. It's a persistent slow on the ground. It doesn't do very much damage. The slow's not very strong. I guess it stacks her passive. Like, yay. Hamstring. Based on crowd control, I'm going to put this in... I think it's probably the same tier as Boomerang. Very, like, small slow. Again, Fangmad obviously doesn't have hard crowd control, so this is what he gets for soft CC. This is a decent ability. It's okay, at best. The crowd control is not the good part of the ability. Ion Strike. This is Decker's new ultimate. I think this is also S tier. Combos with the rest of her kit very well. Stuns in the middle, slows on the outside, does decent damage. I think this is an S tier crowd control ability here. Howie Mine. Also S tier. This is, even after all of the nerfs, if you can hit Howie Mine on someone, it bones them. It puts people so far out of position. I think this has to be an S tier, for sure. Decker Photon Disruptor. I'm going to put this in D. The slow on this ability doesn't really matter. It's like a form of long-range poke that helps her clear the wave. But, like, realistically, this is not the part of Decker's kit that's OP. Psychic Flare. This is Phase's Q, the blind. I'm going to put this in C tier. The blind itself is fine. It's like you can track people through it. You can still see damage numbers. It's like, yes, you can get juked while you're blind. It happens. But, like, overall, I think this is like a below average crowd control. Revenant ult. I think this is going to be A tier. This is Reckoning. So the thing about Reckoning is that it does, while it has crowd control on it, obviously the root, a 0.5 second root on a single target, would not be an A tier crowd control. But I'm going to count the whole ultimate as the crowd control, as taking someone out of the fight, which I think is very good. This lets you tower dive. You can ult junglers so that they can't smite objectives, right? Like, this ult is actually quite good. So I'm going to put this in A tier. Not quite S, but A tier. What is this? I'm going to skip it for right now. I'll come back to it. I think... Actually, no. I know what this is. This is Reversal of Fortune, is what this is. This is Muriel Ultimate. Based on crowd control, I'm going to put it in A tier. It's a really strong knockup, but you have to hit it, which is not... Like, the Muriel doesn't really decide to hit the ultimate. The guy she ults kind of decides if Muriel hits her ultimate. So I'm going to put this in A tier. I think this is solid A tier. This is Right Crunch. This is Crunch's E. I hesitate. I'm going to put this in A tier only because the knockup isn't always there, right? It's not inherently a knockup. It is inherently a slow, which is fine. The slow is whatever. The knockup is obviously very good. Like, if this was only a slow, it'd probably be like C tier. But because you have the option to also get a knockup out of it, I'm going to put this in A tier. I think this ability is pretty strong. Riplash, S tier. Riktor Hook, OP. I mean, like, I don't think there's a way you could tell me this isn't S tier. Sacred Oath. This is Fang Mao, or not Fang Mao, excuse me, Greystone's E. I think this is better than the rest of these slows, like these super bad slows. I think this is better than them because it stacks and you get multiple hits of it, combos into the rest of his kit. I think this is a little better than these slows, so I'm going to put it in C tier. Speed Gate, or Security Gate. I'm going to put this in B tier. It's good for your team. It gives you speed, but it's only a single target route. So I'm going to keep it in B tier. I think it's okay. It's obviously good on one target, but it only hits one target. So I'm going to put it in B tier. Seek and Destroy. As far as crowd control goes, this is gadget right click. I'm going to put this in D tier. The crowd control on this ability doesn't really matter. So I'm going to put this in D tier. This is Seismic Assault. This is Bellica's Q. This ability is cracked. Frame 1 stun. You can't get stunned out of it. No ending lag. Plus on shield. Plus on block. Safe on shield. Safe out of shield. This is this ability's cracked. This is, I believe this is Serenity. No, is that what it's called? Serenity? Yeah, this is Muriel's Q. This is one of the better slows in the game. So this has two forms of so as one form of crowd control, and that has a buff on it. So this is a 35% slow for 3 seconds, which is nuts. That's actually just crazy, just by the way. But it also makes you take 10% more damage as long as you're slowed. So this ability is actually really good. This, I think, is a solid B tier. This is one of the best slows in the game. So this is definitely deserving a B tier. This is Shadow Slip from Countess. This is going to be another D tier slow. It's a single target slow. Doesn't, it lets you get in is the important part of the ability. Obviously, the slow is kind of just tacked on. That's fine. This is Shield Bash, Steel Right Click. I'm going to put it in B tier. I think it's fine. Good for poke. The stun itself is mostly only good for interrupting things. It's not like it's a 0.5 second stun. It's just an interrupt. That's fine. Shield Slam, on the other hand, Steel's ultimate, definitely an S tier. This is a really, really strong ability. Really good, big knockup, decent damage, combos into the kit, good range, right? This is a good ability. Shock Therapy. This is Riktor's Q. I think this is going to be a B tier. It's a good duration silence that comes out very swiftly. So I think this is a good B tier. Shrapnel Cannon. I'm going to put this in C tier. This might be a little controversial. Shrapnel Cannon's a very good ability, but the actual crowd control on it, which is kind of what we're ranking here, is not that good. It's just a short knockback, right? Obviously, it knocks him back and them back, so it's kind of like a longer knockback, but it's not really. The knockback on this ability is not insane, so I'm going to put it in C tier. Skewer. I think this is a solid A tier. This is Riktor's ultimate. I think it's a very good ability. I believe it's like a 1.5 second suppression, which is technically different than a stun because it's not affected by tenacity. So you don't get to anti-CC this with, if you have 30% tenacity, this is going to last full duration. So pretty solid ability, combos into the rest of his kit. Pretty good ultimate. You stun yourself during it. Don't think it matters. Smash and Grab. This is Grux's Q. I think this ability is pretty bad, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to put this in C tier. There are very few times where this ability is high impact, I'm going to be honest. In lane, this is fine. It's good for clearing minions. You can hit people with it in fights, but realistically, this ability is not fantastic. Next up, we have Stasis Bomb. This is Decker's right click. I think this is a really solid A tier. Stun that scales with range. The longer you throw it, or the further you throw it, the longer it stuns. Really good for combos, just like all around. It's an AoE, really solid crowd control here. Static Trap, Murdoch's Root. I'm going to put this in D tier. Just don't walk over it, forehead. Greystone Ultimate. This is one of the most, I think this is okay, off the top of my head, this is the strongest slow in the game. Based on just the crowd control, it's a very big AoE, strong slow. I think, again, just off of the crowd control, I think I'm going to put this in C tier. I don't think this is quite B tier material just because of the slow. Obviously, it does some damage. It gives him another life, but just based on the slow, even with it being one of the strongest, if not the strongest slow in the game, I still think this is probably a C tier. And what is This is Subjugates. This is Severog's E. This is his root. This is, I'm going to put this in B tier. Good range, decent root, slows afterwards. I think this is a really solid ability. I think it's a step below most of these A tiers though. So I'm gonna keep it down. Obviously, line of sight is range dependent. Has a wind up to it. You can juke it. You know, I think this is a solid B tier. Tesla Dome. Again, based on the crowd control of this ability, going in C tier. Decent, slow. The way that it ticks means that you're not perma-slowed while you're in it. You get to, like, move fast, then you get slowed, then you move fast, then you get slowed. So, like, I think this is just okay as far as the crowd control is concerned. Thunk. Easy to hit. Single target stun. I'm going to put it in B tier. Single target knocks it down a little bit. Easy to hit, long cooldown. His passive obviously can reduce it more, but decent ability here. This is Gideon's right click. Void breach is maybe what it's called. Decent slow. I'm gonna put it in D tier. Same reason as the rest of these. The slow just kind of doesn't matter. Maybe it makes it a little easier to hit your Q, but it's kind of meh. Same thing. This is Twin Blast Grenade. Same thing. Just kind of meh. Okay, not great. Slows bonus on top of the damage, pretty much is how it goes. And finally, last but not least, Warlord's Challenge, Grux's Ultimate. This is probably C tier. Half-second stun. Obviously, it gives him more buffs, but just based on the crowd control, probably a C tier here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this kind of content. Let me know if you guys like this. What should I do better in the next one, right? That's really what I want to know. Let me know if I missed any abilities. I'm sure I did, but let me know if I missed any abilities that have crowd control on them. Let me know who the character with 0 crowd control is for bonus points. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I want to do more of these, so let me know what I should rank next in Predecessor. But for today, that's all I've got for you. As always, I've been Pinzo. This video's donezo. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.